like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone, I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Windswept Rob show, broadcasting to you from the outer reaches of Ayrshire. Hello, civilization. I'm assuming you can see me and hear me. I can assume that a bit more and be slightly more confident every week that you can. Still not because of what I can see in my side screen. And I almost missed clicking onto this to my image because I was too busy watching the 7-second delay, and I thought, oh, I'll get 2 seconds to click over. Good, thanks, Stevie. It is all clear, right? All clear, so that's good. Right, let me switch over away my other screen that just confuses me and bring my little agenda up. I do have a wee agenda tonight. And before I get to saying hello to a few people and answer a few comments that I saw popping up while the intro was running there is a poll on the channel tonight. If you haven't participated or partook in the poll, it's only one question. There are 3 options. You can click one of the options. And as we go through the show tonight, which is only an hour, I'm limited to 8 o'clock because I want to finish up as usual so that I don't jump onto the front of the Drone Seekers International live stream. But I will, once the poll has been running for a wee while, maybe half an hour or so, I'll then look at the results, and I want to talk to specific people from the poll, which I won't mention yet. So there you go. Now, before I leave the point about the poll, read the question carefully because the word purposely is used. So the 3 options, the question is, can I even see the question from here? I don't know. If I click the poll, what will happen? Nothing. Yes. Have you purposely flown your drone beyond visual line of sight? Okay. Now, that if for those of you who are not quite sure what I mean by that, what I mean is, have you been flying your drone and there has come something has happened during the flight, or something is about to happen during the flight, that if you continue doing what you are doing, you will fly beyond visual line of sight, and you purposely made the decision to go ahead with that aspect of the flight, okay? Purposely. So it's not, did you accidentally fly BV loss one time? Did it go BV loss and you didn't realise it? This is, did you purposely do it? So that's what the poll is, and it's yes, occasionally, or never. Okay, I'll return to that later on. But on the subject of VLOS, and also this is I suppose a bit of a plug for the membership side of my channel, but bear with me. That's not what this is really about. I wanted to mention, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Right. I have not partook in the poll, and during tonight's show, when we speak about VLOS and BVLOS, I won't be mentioning many. I won't be mentioning any of my flights in regards to VLOS or BVLOS. Okay, you can understand why. It may put me on a sticky wicket, in a precarious situation, on a dodgy dive, if I were to mention anything about my flights in regard to VLOS and BVLOS. Okay, you, on the other hand, are safe to do so because your avatars and names are not identifiably able to be traced to you from this live stream or the poll. So you can answer honestly. In fact, the poll's anonymous. But in your comments, if you speak about any time you may have gone BVLOS, I think you're pretty safe. No one's going to be able to track you down. On the other hand, if I spoke about something like that, then it would be easy for me to be tracked down. So therefore, I wouldn't be speaking about that. All right? Right. And before I go on to, well, before I talk about before I mention the comments or say hellos or anything, let me mention this. For those of you who know and for those of you who don't know, I started filming a series of videos which will take me at least a year to do, maybe even longer, depending on how quickly I intend to do one a month, but it will depend on various circumstances. It will take me, I think, about a year, at least a year, round about a year to complete. I've done 2 episodes so far, and for those of you who are aware, it's the entire coastline of Scotland from a drone's eye view, starting at Gretna on episode 1 with the English-Scottish border along the Sark, the River Sark, flying along the channel of the River Esk, where it eventually goes into the Solway Firth, the Irish Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. But we're only talking about Scotland at the moment. I was out filming for episode 2 during the week, and I posted episode 2 yesterday on the channel. But while I am out creating these videos, and this is the wee kind of, it's not an intentional plug for the membership side of my channel, but because I'm going to be mentioning members, it's going to sound like a plug. When I am out filming every episode of the Coastline series, I also make a members only video. When I say members only, it's a video that is more behind the scenes, it's more personal, it's not edited beautifully and all lovely, and it's a much more personal behind the scenes videos of things that may have gone wrong or things that I have done that I'm not going to show in the main channel. So when I was out this week, I made my members video, and one of the things I mentioned on it was that the flight that I did for episode 2 is probably going to spark a few comments about BVLOS on the chat when I post it. So let me show you this comment. Now, I only posted it yesterday, so I haven't had a lot of comments yet. But Doug1802 posted, and I'm going to flick over to the screen, and hopefully I can speak while it's up and show you this. And Doug, it's not a bad comment. Doug just says, fine video and lovely coastline. I've not flown for a couple of years now, so have the regs changed with VLOS? I say here, I knew someone would mention VLOS. See, members? And the reason I said see members is because on the members video, I spoke about something that I did during the video that would probably spark some comments about VLOS. And Stevie Elder replied, Stevie's in the chat just now, replied to that by, Stevie is a member, so Stevie has seen the members video where I address the thing that I thought would spark the comments, and Stevie said, I noticed you had done this thing, smoke and mirrors editing, when you see you standing at the lighthouse at the end of the video. So either you can drive like Lewis Hamilton or you stole a transporter off the Enterprise. No doubt all the Kevins and Karens watching your video will go into meltdown and scream for your head in a stick. And I replied to Stevie saying, I've done this a few times before, but kept it to myself. It's a laugh to see the Karens go mental in the comments. So I'm not going to reveal what happened, for obvious reasons. It's for the members only. But I suppose the plug side of this is that I make a members video for every single episode that I do on this series. And if you want to see the tricks and then, as Stevie says, what did he say? The smoke and mirror editing, which I talk about, then you have to become a member. And it's only a couple of quid a month. It's nothing. And then you'll get all of that behind the scenes and special background info. Okay, so sorry for the plug, right? But it struck me as humorous when I had said in the members video that I suspect this episode will have a lot of people screaming at me about flying velos. Now, Doug, don't get me wrong, Doug didn't. He's not screaming and shouting. He may genuinely be asking, and I think he probably is genuinely asking, if the regulations have changed with velos. When I first read it, I thought he was being a bit, not snidey, but he was being sarcastic here. So have the regs changed with velos? Because he was obviously hinting at the fact that it looks on the video. If you've watched the full video, which I posted yesterday, episode 2, it certainly appears that the drone has gone velos. I mean, it's almost impossible to see how it can't have gone velos unless you've seen the members video where I explain exactly what happened. Okay, so that's that. So I suppose it is a kind of plug to say, if you want to see the background stuff, become a member for £2 or £3 a month or whatever it is. Right, on to a few comments. I did see a comment way back from Graham Wright, which I wanted to bring up. And I wondered, Graham, if you have been eating some French cheese or snails or something, because you did actually say, "Good evening, Robert." Now, I'm not wearing a beret. I'm wearing a baseball cap, but good evening, Graham. Right. That struck me as funny as it flew up, and so I said it's Robert. Good evening, Robert, he says. Right. A lot of talk there about from Dave, as usual, about the song and the lyrics of the song that is in my intro. I do have a wee agenda point 5, where I'll be talking a bit more about music and stuff. But I'll leave that. Continue to look at your comments, and then I want to get to agenda point 3, because it's 7:10 and Tempest Fugit on this wee hour long live stream. Right. Well, there's nothing else worth bringing up, to be honest with you, except I haven't said hello to Lee yet. Hello, Lee. Oh, Dave said he's had several adverts coming up. That's not good. And I think, did someone else mention that too? Yeah, Peter says, I hope you get paid by YouTube. Your live stream started with ads. That's unusual, because I have always had my live streams pegged for no ads until the live stream finishes, and then I turn monetization on so that people who are watching on playback, catch up or whatever it's called, will see adverts then. But on the live, there shouldn't be adverts. I don't want to go in and start messing about with it right now, messing about with the settings right now. It does say here, I can see it now, privacy is public, monetization is on, and ads automator is on. That has turned itself on for some reason, because I have always had adverts off in my live streams, and I've always had a wee bit of a go at live streamers who put ads on. I wouldn't mention anybody in particular, but I have mentioned in the past a particular channel who does this and then claims they don't know it's happening. But I started the live stream with the intention of not having ads on it, as I always do, and I don't know why they've turned on. YouTube makes updates to everything. They say every week. I think it's more than that. I think it could be 20, 30 times a day that they make updates, internal updates, and some of these may have the effect of doing little things like that, turning ads on automatically, and unless you specify not to have them on, I will sort that. So for the next live stream on next Sunday, it won't have adverts. I'll make sure that before it started. So thanks, Pete, for bringing it up. Thanks, Dave, as well. Thanks for everyone who mentioned it. Right. Right. It looks like there's a great conversation going on here, and it's a shame that I'm actually having to host this show, and I can't get into the comments and into the chat with you and read them all, because some of them look interesting. Peter says here, regarding flying Wind's drone, let us be polite. The incidents regarding drones near airports are still annoying, and we should not challenge the boundaries of law and honour. Yeah, I agree, Pete. That I'm all about being nice to one's fellow man, and up to a point, even if someone is being rude to me initially, I will try and turn it into something positive. But there's a point where you realise that no matter how what I say here or how I try to make this good, it's not going to go good. Now, I'm not. I didn't want to mention my other channel, Audit Reaction, tonight. It's a separate thing. But you can see an example of that on my latest video on my Audit Reaction channel, where a conversation starts, and I try my best initially, and with wee jolly laughs and explaining what I'm doing and trying to make it nice, and it doesn't go that way, and I realise it's not going to go that way. So then I just say, okay, well, there's no point trying to be nice. I'm not nasty, but I just stand my ground and say, no, it's enough's enough. Anyway, that's in the Audit Reaction channel, and if you want to watch that, you can go over there and watch it. We're not talking about that tonight, but thanks for your input anyway, Peter, and I do agree with you. It's I don't think it's anything to do with the browser, Mickey. It's YouTube itself. No matter what browser you use YouTube on, when you're live streaming, it's a different thing as a creator than just a viewer. Okay, right. That's about it with the comments, and I'll move on because we're like 1:15 already, and I'll move on to agenda point 3. This is quite an important one actually, and I decided to add this agenda point in here because for a long time I have seen comments, not necessarily only on my channels, but on other channels as well. And it's one of these things that it's a statement that has, or it's not a statement, it's a thing that has been said so many times that people now believe it's true. That's a thing, isn't it? A big famous orange man said, if you say something enough times, if you tell a lie enough times, people will believe it's the truth. So this is what's happened here with this thing. It's not been a lie, but people believe a certain thing, and because it is repeated and repeated and repeated, people believe it's the truth. And it's not, and I'm going to show that tonight, okay? And that thing is this. Here's a comment that was on my other channel, related to drones though, so I'm going to show it. And that comment was this. Asmo RL says, it is an offence to interfere with a pilot whilst they're in control of an aircraft. Air Navigation Order 2016 and the Aviation Security Act 1982. acting in a disruptive manner, a person must not, while in an aircraft, intentionally interfered by the performance by a member. Can he bring the extra up? Can't bring the additional up, but you get the point. Now he's actually talking about drones here, but he's bringing up not drones. It's not related to drones, right? And I replied, well, applaud your idea. Drones are not classified as aircraft under this part of the legislation, and it's therefore not an offence to interfere with a drone operator while he's flying a drone. It's a very interesting topic to me, and I feel compelled to make a video about it. I may well do make a video. In fact, I will make a video about that on my other channel, I think, or maybe this one. I don't know, because it's a myth that has become reality for a lot of people. They believe it. They believe, and some of you may believe this too, that if you are flying a drone, it's an offence for someone to come up and interfere with you, start talking to you and put you off. Did fireworks come up there? I think they did. And put you off flying a drone. It's not an offence. I'm going to show you the legislation. Right, okay. So here we go. And this will also maybe clear up some confusion as to why people think it's an offence, okay? It's Article 241 of the ANO, the Air Navigation Order 2016, right? That's the exact legislation people are thinking of when they claim it's illegal to interfere with a drone pilot, but they're wrong. Article 241 is about endangering an aircraft, not about bothering the operator. Here's a precise point. In plain English, it says, you must not recklessly or negligently cause or permit an aircraft to endanger any person or property, right? Drones are legally classed as aircraft under the Air Navigation Order, so Article 241 does apply to drones, but it only covers endangering the aircraft, grabbing it, throwing it something, shining a laser at it, shooting it down with a shotgun. It doesn't cover talking to you, approaching you, asking what you're doing, filming you, or complaining. None of that breaches Article 241, right? If someone physically endangers your drone, they can fall foul of Article 241. If they're just being nosy or annoying, it's not an aviation offence. At most, it's a public order or harassment issue to escalate, and I'll come on to that in a minute. But there you go. The confusion is that people interfering with the drone operator are committing an offence. It's only if they interfere with the drone itself that they are causing an offence, okay? Or if they try grabbing the drone or shooting it or throwing stones at it, that's the offence. If they interfere with you as the pilot, and you're not a pilot, you're an operator, you're a drone operator, you're not a pilot. I'm a pilot. I've got a pilot's licence. I can legally fly aircraft, right? But I still, when I'm out flying my drones, I don't call myself a drone pilot. I'll call myself a drone operator, because that's what I am, and so do you. Okay? Mickey the Moo makes a point, right? Auditors use this all the time. They do, and they're wrong. They're all wrong, okay? I would have probably, and I will speak about this again on Wednesday night on my audit reaction live stream. Probably the exact same spiel I'm giving you now. It's not a script; it just comes out, at random, ad lib. Who I don't even know what's going to spew forth. Sometimes when I start speaking, in fact, I never know what's going to spew forth. But I did have the agenda point that I did clip some facts, so I know what I'm going to be talking about, and I will bring it up on Wednesday, because Mickey, you're absolutely right. Auditors spew this all the time, and that, like almost everything else that auditors say about the law regarding drones, they're wrong. But that's for Wednesday night. Not tonight, but I do want to go on further, right, and give you another wee clip on my research today that says there is no specific UK offence called interfering with a drone pilot or drone operator even. People mix it up with aviation law for manned aircraft. That means a wee man sitting in the driver's seat of a plane, driving the plane, right? He's a pilot. The driver of the airplane, not the driver of the drone. He's not a pilot, okay? So the drones are a different legal category. What is illegal, right? And this is what's illegal. There are laws that can apply depending on what someone does, but none of them are don't talk to a drone operator, right? If someone interferes with you by shouting, distracting, complaining, here's the reality. Harassment, threats, and assault. If someone gets aggressive, threatens you, or pushing fear, that's a public order harassment or even common assault. That's about behaviour, not drones, nothing to do with the air navigation order. Criminal damage, if they touch the drone or the controller, and they damage it, swat the drone out of the air, grab your drone, that's criminal damage, and that is a clear offence. Obstructing you if you're working under CAA authorisation, if you're operating commercially under an operational authorisation, someone deliberately prevents you from conducting your job, not talking to you. You may have grounds, but again, it's not a specific drone pilot offence. It falls under obstructing someone in the course of their work or endangering an aircraft if they physically interfere with the drone itself and not the person flying the drone. Okay? And the final thing I wanted to say was Article 241, and I wrote it down just in case I forgot it, because I wrote it down at the time. I thought, right, that's quite a good thing to say to finish this with. Article 241 of the Air Navigation Order 2016 makes it an offence to endanger the aircraft, not to talk to the drone operator. You only break the law if you do something that risks the drone crashing, right? Now, that's not law, that's just me surmising it, summarising it. So you can't then claim as a drone operator, well, you're doing something that risks the drone crashing by distracting me, so therefore it's an offence. No, it's not an offence. Okay, so I hope that enlightens some of you, probably most of you guys, because listen, the Windswept Rob viewers and members are no fools, right? We're all switched on. We know the score. So I'm sure all of you knew that already. But to have it clarified like that, I hope strengthens that and means that this whole idea of repeating a lie again and again and again until it becomes the truth. It doesn't ever become the truth. It just becomes what people believe is the truth. But I hope by me bringing this to your attention will, and these words still fail me, will strengthen, will build that base of strength in your understanding that no matter how many times the lie is repeated, you will know that's bullshit. Okay. Jeez, oh, sometimes words fail me, and that's because my brain's screwed. Okay, there we go. Dave puts it very well. A pilot is someone from EasyJet and the likes. A lot of people would say, no, they're bus drivers. A bus in the air, and they have a driver, or just a bus driver, an Airbus driver. But you're right, Dave, that's a pilot, okay? Okay. Look, I can only apologise. There's nothing I can do about it right now, because if I start to try and turn, supposing I try to turn things, I don't even know how to. But if I found a way, Dave, you're making me look at it now. Delay ads. Insert ads, right? If I click any of those wee buttons, which I can't show you because it's on a different screen, that change the adverts, it may end the stream because the stream was started with ads on. No, I didn't do that intentionally. So I don't want to mess about with it, Dave. All right, I'm sorry about that. So for the remaining half hour, you may see some adverts popping up. Now listen, the ad revenue on a live stream is like, it's a percentage of a penny, and it's something like 7% of a penny. You know what I mean? That's what it is for an advert popping up per viewer. So if I've got 10, 15 people in, 14 people watching. So I'd be lucky if I make 2p from every time an advert's shown. So let's say there's even 4 adverts shown in this live stream, I'd make less than 10p. So why would I turn adverts on? It doesn't make any sense. And anyway, enough about that. Okay. Dave, thanks for that. I appreciate that, because I now know next week when I go to live stream to make sure that if I can turn all of that off, which I used to be able to do. Well, you actually had to go in and physically click it on to monetize it. The default was not monetized. Now it seems they've just switched the default, and the default is now monetized with adverts. So I think I'll be able to go in before the live stream starts next week and click the adverts off. Because 10p? Come on. Right, so that was that. Moving on to agenda point 4. Well, before I do that, I was going to have a look at the comments, but there's no comments yet. So I suppose I should look at the poll. The poll at the moment has: have you purposely flown your drone beyond visual line of sight? 40% of you have said yes. 20% of you have said occasionally, and 40% of you have said never. There's been 15 people answered. So in my rough, screwed up maths brain or arithmetic brain, I would say that 7 and 7. 7 people have said yes. Oh, how many have answered? 15. 7 people have said yes, they have purposely flown beyond visual line of sight. 7 people have said they have never purposely flown beyond visual line of sight, and 1 person has said they have occasionally purposely flown beyond visual line of sight. So I want to address the people who answered that yes, that they have, during at least one flight, purposely made the decision to fly beyond visual line of sight. If you're willing to answer, and don't be scared, the CAA is not going to come after you, all right, on a live stream that nobody watches. What was your reason for flying beyond visual line of sight? Why did you decide to purposely take that action when you didn't need to? You could have said, right, if I continue to do what I'm doing, that drone is going to go out of my line of sight, so therefore I wouldn't do that. But instead, you said, I know that drone's going to get out of my line of sight if I continue to do what I'm doing, but I'm going to continue to do it anyway. Why did you do that? Even if you have to give me a couple of times that you did it. But I'm looking for answers here now, not justifications. You could just say, because I'm not going to be dictated to by the CA or the VLOS rules are absolute garbage or whatever. It doesn't bother me. I'm just really interested in taking all of your comments and sending them to the CAA. No, I'm just really interested in your reasoning for it. If I were ever to do such a thing, I would like to think that I would have a reason for doing it too. And I wonder if any of the reasons that you have for doing it may match any reasons that I would have if I ever did such a thing. Right? So hopefully I'll get a few answers in the comments. And if you don't answer, then I'm just going to have to move on to my next agenda point. And then that'll screw that one up. So we'll finish like 10, 15 minutes early. Oh, that's a point. While we're here at the halfway mark, I wanted to do something that I did last week that failed, wasn't a success. But I wanted to do it again this week. Try it. I can make a goal, a super chat goal. I'm going to do it. The goal, I'm going to set it up now. The goal amount, it's not letting me do it now. Oh, that's a shame. I was going to set up one of these wee goals, but it's not letting me. Or is it? 5? No. I think I have to do it as soon as the thing starts. It's going to do another one of these wee goals, but it's not working. It should have worked. If I hit that drop down, it should have dropped down. Right, forget that. Right, I'm not going to do that goal tonight. Okay, so back and let's see if if anyone has commented to justify their poll answer of yes, they have flown purposely beyond visual line of sight. Snow Manzid says yes, and occasionally is the same answer. Yeah, I suppose it is. I suppose it is. I think I worded those answers wrong. I did word those answers wrong. So yeah, you're right. You're right. And it's too late. The poll's been done. Peter is obviously answered in the poll never. And Peter's reasoning is because the calculations for a return flight could be wrong. You make a decent point there, Peter. I always, and everyone should, and I'm sure that many of you, if not all of you, do, check the direction of the wind before you launch, and keep in mind that the wind direction could change while you're in flight. That would only really be a worry, Peter, if you were taking the drone out to 50% of the battery power. Then it would become a worry, because if you've been flying with a tailwind, you're going to have problems getting back, for sure. And if you've been flying into a headwind, thinking I've got plenty of power left to get back, the tailwind will help me, and then when you hit the 50% point, the wind changes direction, you're up a gum tree as well. So you make a point there, I suppose, in a way, right? But that's not what I'm not looking for. An answer from the people who say they would never do it. I'm looking for people who have said yes, they would do it. Yes, they've done it, or occasionally they've done it, which is, as Snowman said, points out, the same answer. Dave says, sometimes when flying, I just like to get closer, and before I realise I'm BVLOS, but never gone more than 800 metres. Well, that's not what the question in the poll asked, Dave. The question was, have you purposely flown beyond visual line of sight? Your answer says that before you realised it. So it wasn't on purpose. It was by accident. So that, if you've answered yes, then that's incorrect. You've answered incorrectly. You've read the question wrong. You haven't taken the time to read the question properly. Right? Write on that board 100 times. I will read the question properly in the poll in future. 100 times. Okay, moving on. Button Moon says, I film boats at sea, coming into my local boat club. Trust the tech. So I take it that that's an admission that you have decided, if I want to film that boat, it's going to be, my drone's going to be beyond visual line of sight, but it's the only way I can capture the footage of that boat that I want, so therefore I'm going to do it. Okay, got it. Trespasser says, trying to capture the evidence of dogging. What do you mean, evidence? Trying to capture some dogging so that you can use that later for your own pleasure is what you probably mean, eh? Aye, Mickey said it. Naughty Dave, sit in the corner, and while you're there, do your lines. I will read the question properly in future. Okay. Right. And Peter says, I would never fly. Oh, we did that one already. Okay. Right. So there's only, so far, there's only Dave. So Peter, Button Moon, Dave, who have answered that question. Although by my calculations, there are 5 people, 4 who answered yes, and 8 people, 7 who answered yes, and 1 who answered occasionally, which is the same as yes, that they have flown beyond visual line of sight. So what was that? 3 you answered 3 have commented, and 5 of you are sitting on your hands, not typing anything. Oh, Surly Dev, sorry. Maybe I did miss your comment. I'll scroll back up, Surly. There you go. I have a friend, says Surly Dev, haven't we all, who flew his drone at a height of about 100 feet above the sea, about 1,700 metres from launch point, in an attempt to fly out towards a lighthouse. Okay? Your friend did that because they couldn't get closer to the lighthouse by foot or by boat, and therefore use the drone. Okay, I'm not here to question anyone's reason for doing it or anyone's friends' reasons for doing it. I'm only here to find out why some people do it. That's all. To see if their reasons coincide with any reasons that I may have if I ever decided to do such a thing. Who would do that? Button Moon puts it simply, I needed the shot. Okay. It was once, and once and only time. Don't know if I believe that. However, I needed the shot, and I suppose, Button Moon, that's probably the reason that most people do it. Most people fly beyond visual line of sight is because you don't necessarily need that shot unless someone's got a gun to your head saying, get the shot of the back of that building, or click, click. That means you need to do it. You wanted to do it. You wanted that shot, and therefore, to get it, you flew beyond visual line of sight. Making no judgment on it. I'm just stating the most likely reason. Right. Scrolling back down. Oh, Dave. Direction of wind depends on the type of curry the night before. Come on. Get the calibre of those funnies up. This is the Windswept Rob live, right? This isn't some other live stream you're on here, right? Get your level of humour up. Okay. Eddie says, I have once to check how far I could see it. Now, I said I wouldn't give any, what's the word again? Why were my words leaving me? I wouldn't say whether I think it's right or wrong, or that's not a good reason or a good reason. Justification, I wouldn't get that. Anyway, but I'm going to comment on Eddie's, and that is actually, in my opinion, an absolutely justifiable reason to do it. I mean, how do you know you're going to be beyond visual line of sight if you don't know how far away the drone needs to be beyond visual line of sight? There's only one way to do that, and that is exactly what Eddie says: to fly it out a bit beyond, fly it out of visual line of sight to see where that is. Eddie, you've won YouTube. You have won YouTube, because that's the best answer that I think anyone could possibly give, not to justify why they have flown beyond visual line of sight, although you are using it as a justification, but as a reason why they did it. Yours isn't just a reason, it's a perfect justification. I wonder if the courts would see it the same way. I suppose they'd have to be really, really hell-bent on bringing someone down if they were brought to court for having flown visual line of sight, and the reason they gave is because I didn't know how far away I could see the drone, so I had to fly it until I could find out how far that was. And when I said, all right, I can't see it anymore, there was a police behind me who grabbed me and said, you've just flown beyond visual line of sight. You're nicked, my son. Right. Sorry, Stevie. Stevie did it as well. Stevie, I assume your reason was for the same as Eddie's. And that, do you know something, Eddie? I think you've done something quite special here. I think that you have now given every single drone operator who flies beyond visual line of sight the perfect excuse or the perfect justification to give for that flight. It's gold, it's platinum. And it's one that if I ever happen to fly beyond visual line of sight, then that's the exact excuse or justification that I'm going to give. Well done, Eddie. That has to be the comment. Can I pin that or something? There's a wee... I don't know what I can do with that. Maybe I can do something over here. Because that has to be the comment of the live stream. I'll work in that later, Eddie. That is a piece of genius. Who'd have thought a piece of genius would come for Eddie? Right, I could replace the pinned message. I will. There you go. There you go, Eddie. Your message has now been pinned. Right, moving on to that overwhelmingly excellent answer. I'd like a magistrate or a sheriff to hear this, Stevie. I just felt like being a rebel that day. Because I couldn't. I did. I don't know what your second sentence means, but I imagine being taken into the sheriff court for flying your drone beyond visual line of sight and being asked, what's your defence to this, sir? And saying, I just felt like being a rebel that day. They're going to say, oh, well, in that case, not guilty. Case dismissed. Okay, well done, Stevie. Right. Oh, Dave, I hope it wasn't your drone that crashed. Right, you're back now. Right, so that was that. That was that. We're at 1:45 now, 15 minutes to go, and I've still got a couple of points. And I'll transition smoothly to my fifth agenda point, skipping past my fourth, because now that Eddie has made his appearance in the chat, I wanted to remind people and mention to people who don't know that Eddie and I are planning. It's still not set in stone yet because we've got a few technical and logistical issues that we're dealing with. But the plan is that Eddie and I, for those who don't know, Eddie and I are both retired musicians. And we have worked together for the past 20 years, gigging all over the country, for Caithness and Wick, down to Annan at the border. I can't even remember, Eddie, if we've gone into England. I've been in England a few times with other bands, but I can't remember if we've done it together. But Eddie and I have been playing together in bands and as a duo, a standalone duo for decades. We retired from it a couple of years ago when I got long COVID and my memory went. I couldn't remember how to pick chords or how lyrics worked. And Eddie developed COPD, I think it is. Had trouble carrying all the gear and setting the stage up and singing the backing vocals and the harmonies for a 3-hour gig. So we kind of packed it in 4 years ago. But we've decided we're going to come back out, not to gig out at clubs and pubs and venues, because it's too much for us, but we're going to do a live gig. The plan is to do a live gig on Christmas Eve. It'll be an hour live stream, that's all, just an hour live stream. I don't even know what day Christmas Eve is, but I don't think it's a Sunday. So it'll be in addition to the normal Windswept Robert live stream. It'll be on the Windswept Robert channel that Eddie and I will be setting up in this studio that I use right here. We have an area there. We'll have guitars, mandolins, maybe banjo, a couple of different instruments set up, microphones, and we'll be using our effects processors and guitars and performing a live gig only for an hour. It's a Christmas Eve gig, so it'll be Christmas songs, all right? A few traditional, well-known Christmas songs, plus a few of our own that Eddie... I've written a couple of songs over the years. Eddie's written a couple of songs over the years. We've written together a lot of songs over the years, and we are working on a couple of Christmas songs of our own to perform then. So Christmas Eve is the planned time, but what I'm looking for is in the comments, not necessarily now in the chat, but in the comments of this live stream when it turns itself into a video. I'm looking for comments on people's opinions of when would be the best time. We think Christmas Eve is a good time because people are just kind of sitting about, maybe wrapping presents, or and having us on as a live stream doing a wee gig, singing Christmas songs might be a great time for that. The kids or the grandkids are in bed, you're getting your last wee minute preparations ready for the big day next day, and a bit of Christmas cheer on a live stream might be a good time to have it. But if you think another time would be better, maybe Christmas Eve during the day, or another day would be better, or would suit you better, leave a comment, not necessarily in the chat now, but in the comments later on about what you think that time and day would be best. That's what I'm looking for, and that's why I bring this up. So, Dave, the 24th is a Wednesday. Oh, is it? Right. Well, okay. Well, that live stream will be taking place on the Windswept Rob channel, so there won't be an audit reaction channel on that night. It's on on Wednesdays, but I will skip the audit reaction live stream that week and just do an additional Windswept Robert live stream. Thanks, Dave. No. I don't think he wrote any songs. I don't think he wrote a single song like Elvis. Elvis didn't write a single song either. I'm pretty sure Cliff Richard didn't write a song. Well, me and Eddie are going to be performing a few, not all, the entire gig won't be our own songs. Maybe about half of them at the most. But they're good. You'll like them. Right? They're very Christmassy. Listen, they're not Slade or Mud or Wizard or even George Michael standards, but they're all right. You know what I mean? And we have a new name for the duo, which I'm not going to reveal. I was going to do one of those goal thingies. If we hit like 5 super chats, I would reveal the name of the band, but the goal thingy wouldn't work, so I can't do that. Good question, Surly Dave. The Christmas song that, in fact, we're writing 2 of them because Eddie's a big Status Quo fan. So he wants one in the style of 12 Bar Blues, Status Quo. And I'm more of a country fan, Dire Straits / country. So we're kind of we're writing 2 different songs with those styles that are about Christmas and drones. Okay, they're related. So yes, drones, Christmas, and so I'm hoping that you'll all tune into that one on Christmas Eve, and you'll get your families, if you have any with you on Christmas Eve, to watch along as well. Oh, nice one, Mickey, nice one, like that. Look at all the puns are coming out now. Very good. Right, okay, so 9 minutes to go, and I've got a couple of okay, here back to agenda point 4, going back one. It's I'm going to mention a wee thing about the audit reaction channel again, which I don't like talking about in this live stream, but for those of you who comment over there and watch those videos, you may have noticed I do get quite a lot of, not necessarily abuse, but the comments that I get are much less friendly over there than they are here on the Windswept Robert channel, for obvious reasons. I ruffle feathers over there. Auditors and auditor fanboys don't like a lot of what I have to say. And that's one of the reasons that I created the channel, is to ruffle their feathers and to make them maybe think, and to put forth points, my point of view, that is a reasonable point of view, I believe, and might make them reevaluate their opinion on auditors And if they are auditors themselves, make them reevaluate the methods that they employ. Anyway, so I get a lot of negative comments with a lot of abuse. There's a lot of swearing in the comments. I get called a lot of names. Okay, there's a lot of that goes on, and I don't mind it. I've got big shoulders. I don't, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But what I don't want to happen over there is I don't want it to become a massively overwhelming majority of "you're a dick," "you're a Scottish sweaty sock" comments just going on and on and on. So I'd like to ask if you, fans of the Windswept Robert channel, would mind popping over there on occasion and leaving a comment of your own. It can be negative if you like, but I would assume you would leave a more positive comment than some of the auditors or auditor fanboys who have been leaving comments and swearing at me and calling me names. They called me a name. They called me a ball bag. No, I didn't get called a ball bag. I actually was called the English equivalent of a ball bag. What is that now? I forget what the English equivalent is. It doesn't sound as good as ball bag or wee fanny. So I have been getting a bit of that. It doesn't bother me, but like I said, I don't want it to be becoming the overwhelming majority of comments. I'd like a bit of balance. So if you've got a few free minutes at some point, go over to the Audit Reaction YouTube channel and you can counterpoint their comments with your comments if you like. Or you can go there and just abuse the hell out of me as well, because I really don't mind. Stevie says, so yous will be singing a mystery song while having fun and aiming to go rocking all over the world. And Stevie, okay. Like, are you taking over as the number one crap joker for Dave tonight? Because I think you might be going in the corner. Right? No, it wasn't that. It was worse than that. Everybody's a Karen. It was worse than that. Ball bag does sound better, and so does wee fanny. I explained in one of the audit reaction videos, one of the early ones I did 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, however long ago it was, the difference between a ball bag and a wee fanny, and what auditor is classified in the ball bag category and which one is classified in the wee fanny category. It's in one of the early videos and on that channel. Right? No, it wasn't that. It was the English version. I can't remember what it was, but if you go over there, you'll see in the comments, if you look at the comments in the videos, you'll straight away know, that's the name he was called that he was talking about. Because I'm Scottish, I know lots of good Scottish curse words and things to call people, but the English ones, twat or twat and wee tit, things like that, they don't really have the same impact as the Scottish ones. Well, if you're from Edinburgh and you're very posh, you may say, listen, son, you're nothing but a ball bag. But we normally say you're a ball bag. Right, okay. 4 minutes to go. I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes. I'm going to get out here a wee bit early, a couple of minutes early. That's fair enough. Spend the last couple of minutes just plugging the stuff that I do, right? So I have the Windswept Robert channel, YouTube channel, as you know, and I'm focused, I'm focused, what's that? Focused, laser focused at the moment on my content, which is the entire coastline of Scotland. I've done part 1, it's up. I've done part 2, it's up. And next week, tomorrow is tomorrow's no my day for going out. It normally is, but Eddie's coming over to do a wee bit more practice and rehearsing. Eddie, I hope you remember that. You're coming over tomorrow to do some of that stuff, to get everything ready and bring your equipment, that equipment we spoke about. So I won't be going out tomorrow. It'll be probably Tuesday or Wednesday where I go out to film part 3. So that's what I'm laser focused on the Windswept Robert channel for the next year at least. Okay, so please support me by simply watching the videos from start to finish, hitting the thumbs up, and I should be getting a wee bubble thumb popping up here some point. Maybe not. There we go. And sharing it to your friends. It's stuff like that. Okay. You can also support me if you wanted by becoming a member. And it's really good being a member, I think, because that background video that every week, I'll be putting one out for the members is full of good stuff. Anyway, the other channel I have is the Audit Reaction channel, which is more about auditors, the whole world of auditing. What is auditing? Why do they do it? What's their mindset? What's wrong with it? What's right with it? Should they do it? Should they stop doing it? Are they telling the truth? Are they telling lies? Are they ball bags? Are they wee fannies? Who knows? Audit Reaction. That's the channel you'll go to find out all of that stuff, because you'll know when you go there. So please go and support that channel as well by liking and subscribing. I don't have a membership over there yet because you have to hit a certain number of viewers and subs and all of that, and I'm not anywhere near there. I don't think I ever will be, but there's no membership over there. But if you'd like to become a member over there, just become a member here, okay? And the other thing is I have 2 DEO VR channels that have no adverts running on any of the videos whatsoever. And I post all of the same YouTube content that I post on Windswept Robert to my DEO VR channels. One of them is dedicated to 360-degree filming, and the other is dedicated to the 4K filming. You can watch those videos without any adverts whatsoever, okay? And I think that's about it. Right, we're almost out of time. Remember to leave a comment after this is finished about Eddie and I's, about our intention to do the live gig on Christmas Eve. Tell us the best time that suits you. We want to go at 7 o'clock, but maybe a wee bit later would be better. Maybe a bit earlier would be better. Let us know that. Tune in on Wednesday to the Audit Reaction live stream, and I'll see you here again next Sunday. Thanks very much, and cheerio the now.